find the? Did you find my essay? Look for my essay. You found us. Okay, you're not wondering what's going on with your class. This is what's going on. I need more from you. I can get more too because you have it. You totally do. So I want it. You know. If I get my essay out, guys. Mine. That's yours. Okay. All right. Do you have mine? All right. So Stephanie has the word highlighted that I'm talking about, the transition word. Can you say it? The transition word in paragraph 1? In my essay. What is the transition word in my essay? Can you say it?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I know you were like repeating that. Like you being like an annoying little brother. Alright, so can you do the read the word that you've got highlights on either side of the word? Yes, however, what is highlighted? Say which came first? The semicolon and then the comma afterwards. I had sort of folded that into another lesson, but I wanted to come back to it because I'm not seeing it in your writing, and I want to see it. As 12th graders, this is what's really expected of you, is to have these complex sentence structures, okay? So, Cookie, like the reason you said like you wanted to have it be 2 sentences, honey, I don't want 2 sentences. I want 1 with a semicolon and a comma. That's what I want you to practice. This is harder. This requires like that somebody's trained you and you've mastered it and you can apply this in your essay, okay? Do you understand? It'll make your essay look better, more complicated. So that's what we're going to do today. So I've got it in my essay. I said, getting into CPS as a teacher would be wonderful. However, I needed something else, okay? So look at these that you have here in this example sheet. What's the first one? What's it say, Kenneth? This example. Of course. Okay, so highlight of course. I want you to try to use these in your essay. So remember what they are using these highlighters. Highlight of course in the example sheet.
Where?
Right here. The example sheet that we'll work on today. Highlight of course. Think about using that in your essay today. The second one, Kenneth, what is it? What's the second example of a transition word that you can highlight? Sarah's guest was turned away by the doorman. Nope, just the transition word. It's in bold there. Isn't it? What is it? As a result. See where it says as a result? Highlight that. That's the transition word. It's in bold. Yep. Cookie next. For example, thank you, Stephanie. Next, before that, I mean. The sentence before that. Cookie just did for example. However, thank you, Kenneth. Next. Oh, that's the one I had to read earlier. Consequently. Say it. Consequently means as a consequence, as a result of it. And next, it's not bolded in this one, guys, but it's there. She does not loathe chess. Who has it? Correct. On the contrary. And the last one, Angela. The last sentence, please. What's the transition word in the last sentence there? My security guards. Therefore. Okay. All right. So here's an example of changing your essays. I knew it would be hard, but I still tried. Okay, this is too easy, this word but. You can also replace some words in your essay. What can I replace it with? Which one of these highlighted words can I replace it with? Showing contrast. I knew it was too easy, but I still tried. I knew it would be hard, however, I still tried. So think about your essay, look at your essay where you've got the word but, and try to replace it. Before you look at your essay, there's one other point I want to teach, which is here, the bottom of the first page. Using less overused transitional phrases. So if you have two paragraphs, you guys, two paragraphs, right? And let's say, I think I'm going to pick on you. Like if you have, first, I signed up people. Second, I got their permission forms. Third, I explained to them how what they were doing really was a good idea. Then you go to the second paragraph, and you say, it cost a lot of money. Like for Cookie, your second paragraph, I think you need to change it to have a different topic. It's all about money, how things cost, right? So then you say, first, I worked hard to get the money. Second, I opened a checking account so that I wouldn't spend the money. Third, I saved it all and really didn't spend it and focused on my goal. That's boring. You're using first, second, third all the time, right? And that's also not as good as it could be. So what you're going to do is, like here it says first, right? Then after that it says phrases to replace the overused word first. One good example is, an interesting fact is, first of all, initially, that's a really good one. Initially, you guys know this word? Alright, so you can use this word in your writing. One piece of evidence that points to this is, so long, right? So when I'm talking about having one longer sentence, a complex sentence, that involves this kind of thing where you use 7 words instead of 1, right? Also, I like how it uses the word evidence, because in our reading, we're always asking you guys to point to evidence, right? It is important to note that. So these are very, very long, right? If we go to the next page, if I'm talking about how to replace first, what's the next word you think we're going to replace? Second. Yep. Cookie turn page. Next page. Okay? Dropping things left and right today. Alright, second. You're going to have some phrases to replace the overused word second. Okay, Stephanie, read the first one. So what was the first one that replaced first, you guys? Go back and look. One good example is, and here they're saying, another good example is, be careful that you don't overuse those. Okay? Angela, you ready? Read the second one under second. So the second one? Under second.
Another good phrase example is, another interesting fact is, secondly, furthermore, a very second example is, another good piece of evidence is, another way to look at this is through, another example that proves this is, another example that suggests this is, another great example that has support this is. Second, and even more importantly, the second good example is, yet another good reason example is, yet another piece of evidence is, another indication of this is still, even so, in the same way the next example, idea, reason, piece of evidence.
Okay. Cool. I'm thinking of my cat law in Chicago. And remember how I had like a rhetorical question and I said, please step it. And I said, who hasn't ever seen a mouse on their doorway? Remember it was like a rhetorical question? Imagine if instead I had used this one. Yet another piece of evidence is, wouldn't that sound smart? I mean, it makes my essay not as funny, and it makes it sound more do you think we used?
How cats are good company.
So do we have evidence that, let's make up some evidence. Make up some evidence. Give me a scientific example. Pick a study. Make up a study right now that shows that people who have cats can feel crimes or something. Another piece of evidence is that what? How are you gonna say it? Anybody? Cats what? People with cats what? Well, I would say is that people with cats commit what? Commit what? This is, we're making this up, right? We want people to have cats. People with cats, what? Do, like I would say commit fewer crimes. Does that sound good? We're going to say another piece of evidence is that cats often bring or place dead mice at doorsteps, right? So you can think about substituting this in your essay. Next page. Third is the same thing. For first we did one good example, right? For second we did another good example. For third we're doing a final example, or a final fact, or a final reason. And then, and finally, last of all, a final great piece is, the final great example is, let me tell you guys, this is really important. After these longer phrases that have the word is, you don't put a comma. After the others, you do put a comma, because they're transition words, remember? So you're going to have, and finally, comma. Can you guys write that down in your sheet, please? Go back one page to page 2. Okay? And after second of all, put a comma. Second of all, comma. Right here. Put a comma here after second, okay? Second of all, comma. I don't want you to get this grammar wrong. After, on the first page, go back to the first page, write initially, comma. And then write the sentence on the first page. Write this. Remember, use commas after transition words. Remember, Colin? Use commas after transition words. Don't use them after a phrase that ends with is, though. Don't do that. So we have 10 minutes. So I want you to, again, edit your work. You need to be adding on your conclusion paragraphs. Do that after you've added in some more sophisticated transition words and corrected your punctuation, okay? I'll be walking around helping you. Cookie. I was looking at your essay. Here, tell me if you think I'm on. Excuse me, Candace. Tell me what you think. These sentences here are really all about the money. So I think you should change the topic sentence of this paragraph to say something about your success story involving money. they properly punctuated? No, what goes after the transition words? Remember. So add those in several places. Where's your first one? That's one, yeah. So add in what you need to add. What do you need to add? Yes, perfect. Now I'm going to ask you about that first. What comes before that word first? And what comes at the end of that other word at the end of tone? Beautiful sense. Niente, chico. Why did you put the left here? Which is correct. Why did you do that? What did you do when you did that? This is one sentence, right? Now all of a sudden what do you have? Exactly. So now you have two sentences, right? Okay. This is the editing process. See if you can replace any of your first, seconds, and thirds with more sophisticated words for first, second, or third. Each one of you should be able to replace one of them. Look at you two. Replace one of your first, seconds, or thirds. Okay, let's work on this. Sit up. Sit up so you look like a good student. There you go. Sit up here. So, my success story. I need you to tell me what are your 3 steps that you did in your success story to make it successful. Write it down. What are they? Back. What are the 3 steps that you did in your success story? Learning about drawing. Okay, that's 1. Next. What's the next step you did in your success story? You learn about drawing, then what? Okay, you got better and better. Next. You told me that it wasn't the Prosser School mascot, right? So it was at a different school? Was it that school's mascot? What school name? Hmm? Hmm? Okay. So Monroe's school mascot really is the Falcon too? You went from 2 Falcons? You went from one Falcon school to another? Okay. So did you play you played a big part in creating that Falcon on the wall? Who else did it with you? Uh-huh. Like if I went there today and I asked that teacher, I'd say, did Kenneth Washington play a big part in creating that Falcon? And he'd say, like, oh, yeah, definitely. He was great. If I found him. If I found him, he would definitely say that you are part of what made that happen. That if like it's you're not you're not making this up. Like, this is your success story, right? Right? Okay, great. So I'm thinking that the Falcon on the wall So find the word that says for example in the handout that I gave you on the first page. And let's put that in there.
So I put it.
Okay.
I put it. Just put
When
it.
you're beginning to talk about your example, it wasn't Mr. A. So you would tell us, you'd say, for example, Mr. A, what did he want from you? Okay, so you said Mr. A, he asked me to draw Big Falcon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could say it right here before here. Say, for example, he asked us to draw Big Falcon.
Put on the.
Yeah. I'm going to ask everybody to share out what is one thing that they changed in their essay. You're going to practice speaking this to the class. We have about 1 minute left, so you're going to talk about that, okay? Prepare what you want to share to the class. Not a big deal, just share a correction that you made today. Ready? Any random correction that you have? Esme, you ready? Steph?
I put on the bottom.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I was just asking you if you're ready. Are you ready to go? Okay. I want everybody to look at Esme now, okay? And then you sort of like turn your body and talk to them.
For my essay, I was around it was the word but, so I changed it to however.
And what goes before however?
The semicolon and then after however the comma.
Okay, you pick who goes next. Are they examples?
But then it should say not to use that.
Exactly. Yeah, so maybe you want to just change 1 or 2 of them and not all 3. Do it again. You're fine. Kenneth.
Jamesy, he asked me to draw the falcon. I put for example.
Before that, right? For example, and then what goes after it?
He asked.
Remember, use commas after
Oh,
transition.
come here.
For example, comma. Okay, Vicky, you're last. Go ahead. What did you change? Don't give us the however one, please, because Esme gave us the however, because then we're using however too much. Cookie, what do you want to share? Nothing.
Talk together.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Why haven't the bell
Because they're doing park testing.